Well, we're here in the Research Showcase auditorium, and I'm talking with Melissa Johnson, and she is a graduate student here at Case Western Reserve University, but she has some history, and it relates to East Cleveland, and I want to ask her to tell us about growing up in East Cleveland.
Hi, Dr. Haddad. I started out in East Cleveland from birth until I was about 7.5. I lived there with my family. And once I turned 7, we decided to move into a bigger house, which was actually only a few minutes away from my old house, but was over the city lines into Cleveland Heights. But I still remember my days in East Cleveland, and I spent a lot of time there with family and friends after moving to Cleveland Heights. I went to Caledonia Elementary School for kindergarten and first grade, and I loved it. My principal, Miss Stella Loeb Bunsen, I still remember her name, really cared about the kids, and you could tell. So did my teachers. So they challenged us, and I remember talking to students once I got to high school and to college about my formative years, kindergarten and first grade, in elementary school, and mine was much more challenging than theirs in many aspects. I guess just thinking about all the obstacles and all the things we'd have to deal with later on in life, they realized we had to be prepared and had to be prepared early.
So did you move all the way through the school system, through high school?
No, I just did the first 2 grades at Caledonia, and then I was really sad when we moved because my best friends all stayed at Caledonia and then went through East Cleveland. They went to Kirk, they went to Shaw, and I went to kind of a rival school, but we were still in Girl Scouts together. We still went to the same church. We still were in a lot of different family groups and community groups and things together. So although I wasn't in the school system, I still spent a lot of time with the same people throughout those years.
Where did you relocate?
Cleveland Heights, so about 4 minutes away from where I lived. I lived right around the corner from Caledonia Elementary School, and then I moved up Taylor Road, so not far.
But it made a difference in terms of the school system.
It did.
So then you were a part of the Cleveland Heights school system. All right, then what happened? Where did you go after you graduated from Cleveland Heights High School, which also happens to be my alma mater?
After that, I went to Howard University for undergrad and studied business management and community development along with nonprofit management. I always knew I wanted to do something related to community building, capacity building. I interned for 3 years as a community organizer in DC and realized that was one of the routes I wanted to take, something related to building communities from the ground up. And then I came back here for my master's, which I'm completing next month, and learned about the Social Justice Institute and the work that's being done in East Cleveland with CASE, and I'm really excited about it.
What's your feeling about what is happening there? I mean, you are personally involved in that whole process of what's coming about in terms of change for East Cleveland. How would you assess it at this point?
It's in the beginning stages, but I feel pretty good about it. People are very passionate and hopeful, which is always good as a foundation of any sustainable development thing like that. And I feel like CASE and people at CASE are starting to understand the community more, starting to realize the assets of the community that you don't see on the news, that you don't necessarily hear about all the time, but realizing that it can be and will be a viable partner. So I'm excited. I know there are a lot of things in the works as far as developing houses, trying to encourage people to move back to East Cleveland, trying to grow businesses and make it a thriving community again. So I'm excited about it.
Well, you are in a position to be able to assess it because of where you're working with Janice Eatman Williams. And so your leadership in terms of as a kind of leader in encouraging other students. So talk about that a little bit. How do you do that?
Yeah, from that aspect, well, in my office, we take care of a lot of the community partnerships, community endeavors by students. So we connect campus and community. And I work with Janice Eatman Williams in the student tutoring programs. And I can see it from there. Just starting out at the beginning of the year, we tell the students about the different sites we serve in different neighborhoods, including East Cleveland. And some students were a little wary, like, oh, East Cleveland, I've never been there, but I've heard about it, and I don't know if I want to go to that site. I'm not sure how I feel. So we take all the students out to the site so they can meet the people, meet the kids, get to know the space, and decide if they want to be there. And just watching those tutors grow over time, seeing them at the East Cleveland Public Library main branch and say, wow, I didn't know there was anything like this. My city didn't have this. My suburb didn't have this. Looking at the historic value of that place, how much the kids care about the program, how much people care about the library and about the resources in the neighborhood. Just watching them grow over time shows me that they're becoming more familiar with the area, and they start telling their friends, and next thing you know, there are tutors bringing their friends to free jazz concerts, and they start to branch out one by one. But if that's any indicator of how the campus is going, then I'm pretty excited about it. I can see that it's growing one person at a time. One person realizes, oh, this is kind of a hidden gem, something no one told me about, but I want to share it with the next. So
I'm sure you know the expression, an agent for change. How would you define that in terms of what's going on in East Cleveland?
In terms of East Cleveland, I'd say there were many agents of change. They just might not have gotten the publicity prior to this time. And there were and are a few people with great ideas and great passion, and it's looking like now those little sparks are catching on, and it's spreading beyond that small community into the communities next to it, like the Case campus and other neighborhoods in Cleveland. So I'd say the agents of change have always been there. Maybe we're noticing them more, and now they're beginning to spread their fire faster. So,
do you think that the students under your leadership and Janice Eatman Williams, do you think that they view themselves as agents of change?
I'm not sure. I would hope so, because they are. They are. When they talk to their roommates, when they talk to friends, that's really how we spread the program. We publicize on campus, but a lot of times it's tutors who go and tell their friends and roommates and neighbors and classmates about the program, and then a few weeks later you have 2, and then 4, and then 6 people, and they're going out in teams, and they really are agents of change. I don't know if they realize it, but they are. They're changing mindsets, they're changing perceptions, all those things, one at a time.
You might tell them that that's what they are, agents of change, all right? Thank you, Melissa. Thank you so much for talking with us.